The Drukpa lineage, or simply Drukpa, sometimes called either Dugpa or Red Hat sect in older sources, is a branch of the Kagyu school of Tibetan Buddhism. The Kagyu school is one of the Sarma, or New Translations, schools of Tibetan Buddhism. Within the Drukpa lineage, there are further sub-schools, most notably the Eastern Kham tradition and Middle Drukpa school, which prospered in Ladakh and surrounding areas. In Bhutan, the Drukpa lineage is the dominant school and state religion. History. The Drukpa lineage was founded in West Tibet by Sangpa, a student of Rinpoche, who mastered the Vajrayana practices of the Mahamudra and 6 yogas of Naropa at an early age. As a Tibetan or finder of spiritual relics, he discovered the text of the 6 equal tastes, previously hidden by Rinpoche Drukpa, the student of Milarepa. While on a pilgrimage, Sangpa and his disciples witnessed a set of 9 dragons roaring out of the earth and into the skies, as flowers rained down everywhere. For this incident they named the sect Drukpa. Also important in the lineage were the root guru of Sangpa, Rinpoche, and his guru, Phagmo Drupa Doryu Gyalpo, who was in turn a principal disciple of Gampopa as well as Dampa Sumpa, one of Rinpoche Doryu Drukpa's main disciples. A prominent disciple of Sangpa's nephew, Onre Dharma Sangye, was Phaho Drugum Jigpo, who in 1222 went to establish the Drukpa Kagyu teachings in the valleys of western Bhutan. Branches of the Drukpa lineage. The outstanding disciples of Sangpa Yeshi Dorje, the first Gyalwang Drukpa, may be divided into 2 categories: blood relatives and spiritual sons. His nephew, Onre Dharma Sangye, ascended the throne at Raolung, the main seat of the Drukpa lineage. Dharma Sangye guided the later disciples of Sangpa, such as Gosangpa Gonpo Dorje, onto the path of realization, thus becoming the guru as well. Dharma Sangye's nephew and the descendants held the seat at Raolung and continued the lineage. Gyalwa Larepa, Gyalwa Gosangpa and his disciple Gyalwa Yangongpa are known as Gyalwa Namsam of the 3 victorious ones in recognition of the spiritual realization. The followers of Gyalwa Larepa came to be called the Lower Drukpas. The followers of Gyalwa Gosangpa came to be called the Upper Drukpas, and the followers of Onre Dharma Sangye came to be called the Middle Drukpas. After the death of 4th Gyalwang Drukpa Kungkyan Pema Karpo in 1592, there were 2 rival candidates for his reincarnation. Gyalwang Pagsam Wangpo, one of the candidates, was favored by the king of Sang and prevailed. His rival, Shabdrung Nawang Namgyal, was then invited to western Bhutan and eventually he unified the entire country and established Drukpa as the preeminent Buddhist school from Ha all the way to Trongsa. The Drukpa lineage was divided from that time on into the northern Drukpa branch in Tibet headed by the Gyalwang Drukpa and the southern Drukpa, based in Bhutan and headed by the Shabdrung incarnations. Ever since Shabdrung Nawang Namgyal appointed P. Kajungna as the first Shikanpo, the spiritual head of all monasteries in Bhutan, successive Shikanpos have acted to date as spiritual regions of Bhutan. Contemporary organization. The southern Drukpa are led by the Shikanpo, who is the chief abbot of the Drat Shanglant Shog of Bhutan. The northern Drukpa are led by the 12th Gyalwang Drukpa or incarnation of the Gyalwang Drukpa. In Kham, Khamtrul Rinpoche traditionally has been the most prominent Drukpa lineage master and still commands a huge following in Kham. Unlike previously where the lineage was divided geographically into northern, middle and southern Drukpa, the Drukpa lineage masters today often cross these traditional borders and communicate communicate to strengthen the lineage and the teachings. In April 2009, the first of a yearly event known as the Annual Drukpa Council was held on Drukpa Mountain in Kathmandu, Nepal. More than 40 masters of the lineage from India, Nepal, Bhutan and Tibet attended this event, and over 10,000 lay practitioners and at least 1,000 monks and nuns or more met on this occasion. This was the first time an annual event for the Drukpa lineage involving all the three major branches will be held, as a concerted effort to reunite the strengths of the Drukpa lineage and to mend the historical connections of different monasteries and organizations. In July 2007, when the lineage celebrated its 800-plus years legacy in Ladakh, more than 100,000 attended the event that included celebrations and prayers, as well as masked dancing by 300 nuns. This event boasted of the first firework in the Himalayas, the first 800 sky lanterns being lit in the Himalayas, and the first 12,000 biodegradable balloons sent to the sky. Was covered by international media in 2010. The Gilwang Drukpa launched an initiative to plant 1 million trees in Ladakh, as part of the 1 Million Trees campaign initiated by Wangrai Maathai, recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2004. As part of this initiative, the Gilwang Drukpa led the Live to Love volunteers to break the Guinness World Record twice for most trees planted simultaneously. The first in October 2010, 9,313 volunteers planted 50,033 trees within half an hour, breaking the first Guinness World Records for the most trees planted category. In October 2012, they broke again the Guinness World Records for the same category, with over 9,800 volunteers planted nearly 100,000 trees, safeguarding villages from mudslides and cleaning polluted air. The Drukpa lineage, under the guidance of its spiritual masters, in particular His Holiness the 12th Gilwang Drukpa, has established centers across the world, especially in Europe. In March 2008, the 12th Gilwang Drukpa declared his preference that the spiritual lineage be known throughout the world firmly and clearly as Untitled Drukpa, meaning the spiritual lineage of the glorious dragons, or simply the Drukpa lineage. I hope and pray that as holders of the Dragon Order, all of my colleagues would be mindful of their activities and their efforts. They have to know and be clear about which household they belong to, and surely they need to be aware of others' ulterior intention. He goes on to note that the different lineages within a major Tibetan Buddhist branch are like brothers. Of course, some brothers do better than others, but that doesn't mean that those doing better could self-appoint themselves as the head of other weaker brothers' households and take over their assets, wives and children, in the name of helping and in the name of supporting, and for that reason it is better that DKAR not be used any longer. Indian government issued commemorative stamp in the name of Drukpa lineage. On the 14th of May 2014, Department of Posts Government of India celebrated Buddha Purnima with the release of a commemorative stamp on the Drukpa Buddhists, a rare and perhaps first recognition given by the Indian government to a particular Buddhist lineage. Forced conversion of Drukpa monasteries in Mount Kailash by Kagyu. On the 10th of September 2014, the Gilwang Drukpa issued an official statement that the Drukpa monasteries in Mount Kailash have been forcibly taken over by the Kagyu order, with Drukpa monks and yogis being forced out of their monasteries, and photographs of Drukpa masters have been replaced with photographs of Karmapa Ogyen Dorje. Symbols designed by Karmapa Ogyen Dorje adorn these monasteries. Tithapuri and Driraphug are the two most prominent heritages having been forcibly taken over. Till now only Chungyalpa from office of Karmapa Ogyen Doryu has replied, saying in the late 70s, a High Lama of the sect had visited the Kailash region and witnessed how 4 Drukpa monasteries had been desecrated. He had then urged that these be restored because they are very sacred. However, observers note that 1970s was a turbulent time when the Cultural Revolution took place and places of religious importance were not permitted for entry, while the Gyalwang Drukpa has only mentioned 2 Drukpa monasteries in Kailash that have been forcibly converted to Karma Kagyu by influential masters and followers of the sect. Office of Karmapa Ogyen Trinli Doryu has declared 4 monasteries in this region have been affected. Witness statements have been posted on social media and documentations provided by the local Buddhist association have proven that the monasteries were Drukpa until 2006. Western perception. Some 19th and early 20th century writers believed the Dugpas to be sorcerers focusing principally on the left-hand path traditions and various tantric practices of Buddhism. Alexandra David NEAQTL claims that the name Dugpa comes from the Tibetan word for thunder, as the first monastery was built during a thunderstorm. The name Dugpa was used on the television show Twin Peaks to refer to a group of black magicians connected to the Black Lodge. Monasteries. Important monasteries of the Drukpa order include Ralung Monastery in central Tibet just north of Bhutan, Druksangag Choing Monastery, Hemas Monastery, Punaka Dzong, the winter home of the Drat Shangland Shog, Tashicho Dzong, Thimphu, which houses the Drat Shangland Shog in summer, Namdruk Monastery, Kardang Monastery, the main monastery in Lafhall. Drukpa Lineage Masters. H.H. the Gyalwang Drukpa. H.E. Drukpa Yongsan Rinpoches. H.E. Drukpa Chogon Rinpoches. H.E. Chogdra Rinpoche. Drukpa Lineage Abbots. Kanpo Choda, Kanpo Soda, Kanpo Lodo Sangpo, Kanpo Jigme Dorji, Kanpo Thringup, Kanpo Sonam Jayatso, Kanpo Nedon Tenzin, Kanpo Lobsang Zultram. Will update more.